We are back, and this time we're going to be ranking all of the authorities. This is going to be a huge surprise to some of you, but we're going to put Envy the lowest on the list because honestly, this ability that she has is such a mystery. There's nothing we can say about it, so we're not going to be able to rank it. Just know that this is a remote ability that she possesses. What's her power? Working at McDonald's? Maybe I should. I know the president did, and that made him a better person. Maybe we should take some notes. Just know that if you get in between Envy and Subaru, there are some consequences, which is linked to the ability. Who knows what it does, but you definitely don't want to find out. Starting the list would be Subaru's Return by Death. Okay, this is obviously one of the weakest abilities you can have, but I mean, if you think about it in the long run, it does help because you can't die, even though you're gonna respawn like a gaming checkpoint. What does this do in a fight outside of causing you endless pain and misery? Nothing! I mean, we could sit here all day and think of a million different reasons as to why he can use this to his advantage, but let's be real, in terms of abilities, this is definitely one of the most convenient, but weakest. Especially if you're not that strong to begin with. Not gonna lie, it's a good ability, but compared to everything else on this list, it deserves last place. Next, we would have Al's authority, and really, this is another authority that is very convenient, but honestly, it's pretty inconvenient. And if you want to ask me, this is kind of a bootleg Return by Death because unlike Subaru, Al has to fulfill conditions just for this to work, and so this would act a lot like a domain, as if we don't have enough of those in anime already. Jujutsu Kaisen, anyone? ReZero did it first, fact check me, I don't care. But this ability would make space-time get warped, and what this would do would play into Al's favor, giving him an advantage, but he has to prepare and fulfill conditions for this to work. And if he doesn't, well, this ability is not doing anything. When he does activate this ability though, what it does is it resets him back to a point where he's more or less alive. Think of it like a free rewind button. And to make matters worse, he has no direct control over this, so whatever happens, happens and he has to deal with it. He basically gambles his life by using this ability. Like I said, this ability is pretty inconvenient because whether he dies or his opponent dies, it's going to change back to a single point in time. I'd like to think of it as a free neutral reset in a fighting game. Even so, as useless as I make it sound, this ability does have a lot of great qualities that allows him to take advantage of an opponent and win. You see, by using this, he can choose and create a checkpoint for himself to reset himself to a position where he can have an advantage. And he can remember every single instance in which he dies, so he can find a easy way to kill someone. But that's if he wins this coin flip. He would have to be known as the victim in a situation. Now, if he is an aggressor, his opponent can kill him non-stop, but this can benefit him because he can keep making them kill him until they finally go insane. But I honestly don't think this is going to work against some of the more crazy individuals in this series. But the very fact that the area matters in which he does this and then he has to fulfill conditions is why it would be so low. Because really, there are some matchups that he can definitely win. But I'm gonna let you come to your own conclusions. And here comes Rash. Speaking of inconveniences and conveniences, well, guess what? This ability would be the most inconvenient ability there is. Minerva would be able to rewrite causality. Yes, this sounds broken, this sounds amazing, right? But you couldn't be more wrong. I'm gonna need some of my healers to join the queue here because this ability does nothing but that. Heal. That's all she can do despite having super strength. No matter how powerful she is, every single punch that she throws at someone is going to heal them. So how in the world did she manage getting a spot above Subaru and Al? Because really, this power just works against her. She can't do anything but help someone. Well, you see, due to her brute strength, she would be able to use the environment like throw rocks and cause landslides that could potentially damage her opponents. She's honestly useless. She wouldn't even be able to hurt a fly because if she comes into direct contact with it, she would make it so that the fly takes no damage and is healed. And it's going to be more annoying than it was before. What can she do? The only thing that really puts her above Al and Subaru is just being able to use land masses and fight with the environment. The fact that she has to fight with the environment puts her this low. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. And the very fact that she can't kill anything. I hope you're not feeling hungry anytime soon because this next one is not going to help your appetite. Gluttony would be the authority that thrives off of conditions, making it this low on the list. You'd think you could expect more out of it, but that just isn't the case here. With Gluttony, you can eat a person's memories and their name, but in order to do this, you have to touch them with your left hand and then lick the palm of that hand. To put it simply, you're eating them from existence. Any kind of relationships they had, any individuality, let alone personality, would be gone. And if they have their name eaten, they no longer exist. This is really, really broken, but the fact you have to get in so close and a lot of these other authorities just simply stomp you out, the chances of actually being able to use Gluttony are pretty low. And this ability, as broken as it is, does have a weakness, because if you do not eat a person's true name, well, the person that's the glutton will become sick and nothing is going to happen. So all that effort of getting in close and touching a person with your hand is going to be useless. Unless you're omnipotent and you're Sonic the Hedgehog, it's not doing anything, earning it this spot. The next one is a pretty basic ability, with it being Sloth. Yeah, she would just crush things. Yeah, it's really that simple, except for the fact that the range on this move is completely disgusting, letting her hit anyone from a pretty far away distance, crushing them into the ground until they are paste. She would even hold her own against the Divine Dragon with this ability, and keep in mind, this is a character that just likes to lay there on the ground and do nothing. Who said laziness doesn't have its benefits? Outside of a good night's rest, you can get an invisible hand that will just kill anything in your path. And judging by the speed of this move, good luck dodging it, which is easier said than done, cause it's invisible. Simply said, she's a powerhouse and there's nothing more to it. She'd be this low on the list because all these other abilities allow them to fight at a completely different level. This is just physical strength, but of course there's more to a fight than just that. So I'm going to spawn in Clind, who has a really disgusting ability, which would be spatial manipulation, and we all know how broken that is. He would literally be able to delete space, so anyone that he's fighting is gone. That's just how it works. It's that simple, and it only gets more broken than you think, because he doesn't even have to move his hands. He can just make it happen. Your overall existence will be gone, practically like the snap of a finger. He would be above Sloth on this list because his power would just be way more lethal and leave nothing behind. But the biggest game changer here is the fact that he can teleport, so this makes him able to leave any of his opponent's attack ranges, so they're just never going to hit him, but he can just erase them. If Clind is moving his hand to kill you, he's just flexing on you because he doesn't even need to do that. I hope you can fight at the speed of light, because if not, you are already dead. If you ever thought your own depression was beating you down enough, well, you're not ready for melancholy, because this guy is honestly an abusive powerhouse. Just by getting close to this character, you're gonna die. If that isn't bullshit, I don't know what is. He has a force field that's just going to damage you. The closer he gets to you, the worse off you are. Imagine Tag. He's gonna be really good at that one. But yes, why would he be higher than Clind when Clind, like I said, can just move out of any person's attack range? Well, guess what? He has a solution for this, because by aiming a force field, which is not only on his body, he can create one and put it anywhere he wants, and anything inside of that force field is going to eat shit. And this range is decently far, so he's a pretty complete fighter. You can't get in, you can't run away, all you have is pain. That's just how the cookie crumbles this time around. I'm making this list with no shame whatsoever, but I can tell you one thing, I definitely have a lot of pride. That being said, the authority of pride would be honestly one of the strongest ones, and pride, a lot like gluttony, would have to touch you to make it work, at least for the most part. Whether or not you're good or bad, it doesn't matter, because you're still gonna die. If you're a good person, your death is not going to be painful, but if you're bad, boy oh boy, you better be ready for some of the worst torture you could ever experience. Unless you're a masochist, then I tip my hat to you. Coming into physical contact with Typhon just lets her know how she wants to kill you. Honestly, I don't see why she really needs to touch someone's hand, because regardless, you're gonna die, no matter if you're good or bad. And it gets worse because you can't fight her back, because if you so much as hit her, any part of your body that you used to attack her with will crumble into dust. And she can just judge you and kill you that way. And if you feel a lot of guilt, no matter how small, you will be judged and then killed. It's really that simple. It's that broken. You just can't fight her back. It's ridiculous. But I mean, at the very least, you could damage her. So maybe if you're strong enough to kill her in one hit, you could possibly win. But if you ask me, I just don't see that happening, because your body parts are just gonna crumble. I pray for your sake that you finish the job in an instant. And we're pulling out Lust. Why is this so high? Well, just by looking at you, you can die. I think this is the ability that acquires the least amount of effort, and even if she chooses not to kill you by looking at you, you can become so captivated with Lust that you're not even going to be able to attack her, especially because she can turn into exactly what you want to see and hear, and you're going to be so entranced that you're not even going to be able to fight. Think of this as the ultimate Tsukiyomi, but way, way worse. I honestly have no idea how anyone is going to fight this back, but some way, somehow, there are some stronger abilities, whether you believe it or not. Despite his early introduction into the series, Regulus really does hold his own against some of these stronger abilities, because he has a time ability, so anyone that attacks his body, he can stop the time when this happens, making him literally invincible. Literally any and every physical thing that happens to him just is not going to happen, and he can also use his time abilities to make attacks. By simply raising his hand, he can immediately tear a person to shreds in seconds. This could be as simple as him throwing a rock at you and would go right through your body. Honestly, it's crazy to imagine him taking on any witches, especially since he's the Archbishop, but being able to stop the time of any attacks that he comes across, making him invincible, it's really hard to imagine how he's going to lose. And finally, we would have Vainglory, and honestly, I cannot stress enough how busted this is. This is phenomenon manipulation. She's practically like a god. If she speaks it, it happens. She's able to bury someone alive instantly, or dead if she wants to. She can negate her own death. She can also erase people and their memories. Yeah, this is just disgusting. Negating your own death and being able to manipulate a person's memories, probably to a point where they won't even know how to use their own abilities. This just has too much potential. It's just stomping everybody out easily. And she can manipulate a person's senses, so you're not even going to realize that she's there, or it's just, do I really need to explain this? She kind of has what everyone has, but better. And unlike everyone here, she literally cannot die. She easily earned this spot on the list, and I hope you guys can all understand that. Let me know if you think anyone else is the strongest. And if you made it this far into the video, thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and also check out these other videos I'm showing on your screen right now. You're gonna love them, especially if you liked this one.